Hey fragrance family, welcome to another video by Proverbs 27:9 fragrances. Today we are talking about a classic from the house of Aramis, and it is simply Aramis. This is the eau de toilette, the originator, all the way back in 1966. And I know it's been reformulated a lot throughout the years. But if you're smelling a current formulation, then you're smelling a classic style fragrance. It's described as a woody chypre, and I would say that there's elements of a fougere in it as well. So I know a lot of people said that this has changed a lot throughout the years, and it's not nearly as beast mode as it used to be. I can't imagine what it used to smell like then, because this thing is loud and proud. It's a hairy-chested, classic style fragrance. So, and again, it's described as a woody chypre, and a chypre in its nature is woody. They're typically, kind of dry, warm, woody fragrances, oak moss and patchouli usually in the base, and that's what you've got with Aramis. To describe it to you it's kind of difficult. It's citrusy, okay, in the opening. I've got the dry down here. Let me get a opening here. And this is the current bottle, just square. Almost kind of looks like a stock bottle with the sticker on it. Can you unscrew? No, you can't unscrew it. Atomizer is good. Puts out a lot of juice. This bottle is a 3.7, which is a 110 ounce. When you spray it, you get this really nice citrus. It's not like a modern citrus fragrance, though, the way they blended it. But there is a bright bergamot, maybe sort of lemony note. There's aldehydes in the top, which gives it this kind of fresh, soapy vibe. That's kind of but to me it doesn't smell like clean laundry as much as it smells like a little bit like shaving foam. So that's why I was saying it kind of has a little bit of a fougere quality to it. I'll give you the notes. Top notes are aldehydes, myrrh, artemisia, which is wormwood, clover, thyme, bergamot, and gardenia. Middle notes are patchouli, sage, jasmine, cardamom, and orris root. Classic base of leather, oak moss, musk, sandalwood, vetiver, amber, and coconut. I don't get any coconut. I don't really get a lot of vetiver. The vetiver, it's a really well blended fragrance. It's hard to pick out individual notes. You can pick out individual, sections of the fragrance. Like you can smell the bright citruses, okay. You can pick out the leathery, classic base, oak moss, patchouli, sandalwood, all that is well blended. You can smell the florals kind of in the middle of it, the geranium, it was a gardenia, I believe, the orris. But it is a well blended fragrance. Now, it comes across a little bit animalic, a little like dry urine, honestly. And you might think, oh my gosh, but if you've ever smelled fragrances from, the 70s and earlier, when did Kuros come out? YSL. Was that early 80, 81? Kuros kind of has a urine type smell. Boucheron, Pour Homme, Shalimar. There's a lot that has that little bit of a urine. And so, you know, Kuros has that stigma about smelling like a urinal, you know, kind of a urinal cake and a little dry urine. That's that animalic presence. The good thing is, it's only really urinating for the first minute for me. Now, some people don't smell that. Some people, it's all they can smell. It's a little bit powdery, just slightly, but it's just a nice, warm, dry, classic style fragrance. What is that one? I used to have a vintage version of Armani Eau de Pour Homme. Is that the name of it? Smells a lot like that. Leathery but soapy, a little barbershoppy, but definitely just a nice classical Chypre fragrance. Chypre is kind of based around patchouli and oak moss and bergamot, and there are some newer Chypres, but the Chypres were really popular in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Let me give it some ratings. I'm going to say for, again, we go projection, performance, price, and the perfume itself, the smell. Projection, I would say it's a solid 3. If you spray this on, people are gonna smell it. Performance, you know, I'm gonna flip-flop these. I'm gonna say the projection is a 4, because when you first spray this on, it'll fill the room. Performance, I'm gonna say is a 3. Lasts a good long while. You'll smell it, but it becomes a skin scent after, I'd say, the 4 to 5 hour mark. It's, you know, going to sit closer. Now, the old formulations, they say you was getting 10, 12 hours be smelled. This one, not so much. The price, it's a good priced fragrance for it to be this old and still around, and really the star of the Aramis line as well. You know, I think you can get this fragrance pretty reasonable at Walmart, places like that, for 40, 50 bucks. Discounters probably around the same, so a 3. But here's where it hits me I just really don't like this style of fragrance. And you may kind of find that interesting, because a lot of people think that I have a really old school style, but this to me is not the old school that I like. I don't like animalic smelling fragrances, and even though it's not listed, there is that touch. So I'm going to give it a 2. That makes it a solid 12, 4 categories. It's a solid 3-star. Back in the day, this was probably a 4 to a 5-star. This was a big hit, and it's still around from 1966, still a good seller. When I had my eBay store, which I know folks, if you want samples, decanted samples, I'm trying to work on a website, but if you see something of mine that you want a decanted sample of, I can give you a solid 3 meals for usually $10 shipped to you. So just send me an email or leave me a comment, and I'll try to get that out. eBay's real weird about their stuff, but this was my #1 seller. That den in that bottle is not for me wearing it, folks. That is from folks wanting to have a decant and smell it so they tell whether they want to buy it or not. But it's a good solid fragrance. If you like old school fragrances, you'll probably love this one. If you don't, you'll probably hate it. But anyways, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave me a comment. What do you think about this fragrance, and what would you like me to review? I've got a 100 subscriber special video coming up. I'm going to do a giveaway, so look for that. Till we see you down the road, God bless. Frag on, Frag fam.